Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. You're getting another sneaky peek at the end result, and today is part 2 of a video I did in memory of my mum, but I talked so much about my memories that basically it was far too long. So I hope you enjoyed today's video and catch me tomorrow for another video, and maybe I'll even manage to fit in 2 this weekend. We shall see. Take care, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye. Now, I'm going to do the vintage vamp, which I know that some of you had asked for. And also, you know why I'm going to do the vintage vamp now, because it was this winning that I had just before Christmas. So I'd see it as my gift from my mum. Before I do that, I'm going to put this colour chameleon on in bronze garnet, because I'll show you how a colour chameleon can be used as a primer, provided you get one that sort of coordinates with the palette that you're about to use. And bronze garnet, I think, works very well with the vintage vamp. Okay, so I'm just gonna buff that out with my fingers. And the other side. So when I was younger, I was in a wheelchair when I was out and about. So, because I could never walk far. I think the attitude back then is very different to the way it is now. I'm just going to put this underneath, which was, I don't know why they did this, but having spoken to a few people, this is my conclusion, is that the attitude was, don't give her a self-propeller, don't make her too independent in a wheelchair, because that's just going to encourage her to use it more. That was the kind of attitude, was to get people on their feet at whatever cost. And I think now that the attitude has changed, because they have seen over the years people like myself who often weren't treated very aggressively up until the sort of late 60s, early 70s. They've seen the wear and tear that has happened throughout our lives and realised that actually it should have been up to us how often we walked and how often we didn't walk. Because most of us wanted to walk. It wasn't that we didn't want to walk, it was that it was painful to walk, or it was difficult to walk. And there was this attitude of get people in frames, get people into leg braces, get them up on their feet as much as possible, because walking is the holy grail of life. And I think that attitude, thankfully, has changed. So they didn't give me a self-propeller. They gave me a transit wheelchair, which means basically someone had to push it, which meant that I relied on my mum to take me out and about until I got a car when I was 18, when I learnt to drive. So I was quite dependent on my mum, but I didn't see it in that way because we were very close. And but I do think that it was a kind of deterrent to stop me becoming too reliant on it. And it wasn't from my mum, certainly not. I think it was from the people that were issuing it, really. That was their philosophy, is don't make someone too dependent on the wheelchair. Right, I'm now going to get the vintage vamp, which I'll be right back. So I'm using Charlotte's eyeliner brush with the smoke shade here to set that barbarella brown, because it just give it a purpley browny kind of hue, and it'll just soften the line a little bit, which you probably seen me doing before. It's a good way of setting the eyeliner and keeping it on a little bit longer. But it also, if you've got, as I have, a little bit of crepiness on the eye, a kind of an eye pencil can sometimes accentuate that. a kohl, whereas if you set it with powder, it kind of blends it out so it doesn't accentuate the crepiness. Okay, I'm just going to do my little trick of going in here. There's a sale coming up, by the way. I got early access, 48-hour access, but there's a sale coming up and there's quite a few items been reduced, probably because they're the end of the line. So if you like American Sweetheart, I'd definitely go for that, because it's £16 instead of 24, and if it's in the sale, it probably means that when it's gone, it's gone. And as I said, I'm just going to repeat to anybody new following me, there is absolutely nothing in it for me to tell you to buy Charlotte Tilbury. Even if I put a link below, it's not got an affiliate link. I just love her stuff and I enjoy what I do. So I'm not telling you to buy it. Obviously, it's whether it suits you. I'm just giving you my recommendations. And I think American Sweetheart looks lovely. And I think it would look good on a lot of skin tones. But the decision is yours. Okay, and then, just because it was in the kit, I'm going to use full fat lashes, which is also down in my... Is it in my tray? Yes, it is in my tray. I'll be right back. Okay, so full fat lashes. I can't be bothered to curl my eyelashes. Forgive me, Charlotte, forgive me. I know, I'm committing the cardinal sin of not curling my eyelashes. But also I can feel my eyes starting to water, and if I go near it with eyelash curlers, that's it, it's just going to start streaming, and then all my makeup's going to come off. So, it's not just laziness. So, another little story about my mum. So my mum was a midwife and a health visitor, and she worked in the maternity home where she gave birth to me, and her best friend delivered me. So I had the joy of, on my 18th, not actually on my 18th party, she wasn't there, but somewhere around me being 18, of the midwife that delivered me telling me all about how she saw me coming into the world. But my mum, when I was in labour with Jack, sorry, it was a bit blobby there, and I tried to correct it, and I might have to go over that with some concealer. Never mind. When I was in labour with Jack, my mum was climbing the walls. She was so anxious because she knew of all the things that could go wrong, and obviously my disability was a factor. He was very big. He was £8.14, which is 4 kg. And he was lying back to back. So he didn't make it easy for me. Okay. Now, we are going to go in with the lipstick. Now, obviously, it's the daytime. And the lipstick, I'm just going to get it. Okay, the lipstick is Night Crimson. And it can be a bit dark, but let me just go in with the lip cheat first, which is beautiful. It's called Savage Rose. Right, I'm not going to fill them in, because if I do, then it's going to make the lips look even more intense. But I'm just slightly blurring out the line with my fingers. Now what I'm going to do, and this for people that struggle to get a good line on their lips is really good as well, but if you are doing a lip for the day with a dark colour like this, if you just take your finger against here and put some on your finger and dab it. So dab it on the bottom lip and then press your lips together. And it actually comes out a lot lighter. I've forgotten my lip luster, which I shall get in a minute. Silly me. So now I'm going to do the next part, which is obviously the cheeks and the bronzer, cheeks, highlighter, and I'm going to be doing a mix here, so that's going to be fun. So I'm going to start by using the Huda highlighter palette, which I got for Christmas from my mum. Okay, 1 second. Okay, I've got my Huda palette. Now, this will show you here. So she has a prep, a set, a sculpt, and a flush. So this one is prep, and it's a cream. And I'm never quite sure if you're supposed to put this on with a brush or with your fingers. And then you've got the highlighter there, you've got the blush there, and you've got the bronzer there. And this one is called Golden Sands. Okay, so this was the one that I got. I remember because the shade Fiji is where my dad is from. Okay, so I don't know, I'm going to try and put this on the prime. So what the prep shade does is it's got a glimmer, but it also, it says apply Fiji as a base to smooth skin and amplify light reflecting pearls. Now I wouldn't go onto your cheek if you've got open pores like me, because it is going to show those open pores. It's going to sort of accentuate them. So I'm just taking Charlotte's blush brush and I'm just going to put some of that on with a brush just here. So what it does is it makes the rest of it stick a bit more. But I have done this with my fingers. I might dab a bit on with my fingers as well, because it's a cream and I'm really not sure. If anyone's got this and they know, can you tell me whether you're supposed to, because it is a cream, whether you're supposed to dab it on with your fingers or whether you're supposed to put it on with a brush, because it just doesn't seem right when I put it on with a brush. So I'm going to dab that on there and I'm going to dab that on there. And I keep getting messages up here on my phone, which is really annoying. Okay. And so then I'm going to go in with Tahiti, which is the bronze shade. And I'm not going to use this as a sculpt because it is quite, let me just show you. So there is the shade of Tahiti. And it is sort of quite a glimmery shade. So I'm going to use that more as a bronzer. And if I need to do a bit of sculpting, then I'll go in with Charlotte's. Okay, but this, and in actual fact, I did get the bronzer, the Film Star Bronze and Glow with Vintage Vamp, I remember, so that I could complete the look. But I only won £140, so that wouldn't have paid for it. There you go. So this is a bronzer. So it's going to give a lovely golden sheen to the skin. It does show up pores a little bit. So just be careful not to take it down too much there. So I'm going to use that bronzer there. I'm definitely going to use it across my forehead and a little bit across my nose and a bit across my chin. Okay. Right. Now, I don't know which blush to use, I might use both. Why not? I'll just put a little bit of this one on, and then I'll put Charlotte's over the top. So then we have Zanzibar, which is a beautiful rose gold, pinky rose gold. It is, when I say rose gold though, it is, can you see there? Something's fallen on the floor. Can you see how it's darker than Charlotte's rose gold? There, come on, focus camera. Let me just put my hand behind. Let's just try it on my hand there. There we go. Let's do that. You see that? So it is beautiful. It's actually quite a stunning rose gold, which makes me want to use it. So I just put a little bit on the brush and onto the cheeks. And again, a little bit on the brush and onto the cheeks. And you can see that primer underneath is sort of helping it to stick. So it's a little bit like when Charlotte puts her cream highlighter on and then puts the Pretty Youth Glow over the top. Same principle is to put a cream underneath, and it kind of helps it pop a little bit more. And then is the highlighter shade, which is called Seychelles, which is that. So it's very like the bar of gold actually. And I need my highlighter brush. So let's go in with that. And you know, Huda doesn't do subtle highlighters. So if you like a nice glowy highlighter, definitely recommend this. This is so what my mum would have got for me. I can't explain why, but it is. And then a little bit down the centre and a little bit on the chin. And why not, just for the fun, as I'm going to put a bit of lip lustre. Dab a tiny bit. I say a tiny bit, but once you put the lip lustre over, it's good if you want it to show up. Perhaps a bit more. Okay, now then I will do the cheek to chic in, and the one for Vintage Vamp is the first one I got, and I do love it. I do love it. Love is the drug. If you have got darker skin than me and you find that her cheek to chic blushes don't show up on you, this is the one to get. This is definitely the one to get. If you're fair, just go easy. It will look beautiful on you. It look good on every skin tone, but you just need to go easy because it is so pigmented, as I said in my previous video. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to swish around the side and then just tap some of the excess off and swish. And again the other side, tap off some of the excess and swish. Says she and swipes. And then the pop shade, which is the icing on the cake. One pop and you get that much. But lovely pink rosy glow. Okay, and then I'm just gonna wipe that brush down. In fact, I'm going to wipe the bronzer brush down and go in and just blend all those colours seamlessly together so I don't have any stripes. Something else I remember about the 80s, I remember doing Avon. I was an Avon rep when I was 14 and my mum stood guarantor, and they had these blushes where you literally had three, like the dark, medium and light, and they told you to put that one on there, that one on there and that one on there, but they didn't tell you to blend them in. And I bet you I spent ages as a teenager going along with a stripy face. I bet you I did. Okay, and then finally, I am going to use, let me just go and get her bronze and Film Star Bronze and Glow and just sculpt my cheeks a little bit, and then I'll finish off with the lip luster. Sorry guys, I know this is going to be a really long video today, which is probably a good reason to stick to the other format, but let me know what you think. I hope you've got about 40-50 minutes to spare this evening. Right, so I'm just going in with Charlotte's bronze from a light to medium Film Star Bronze and Glow, just to sculpt my cheeks a bit, to sculpt under my chin. And a little bit down my nose. Making sure I've got a clean brush, because I do not want vintage vamp eyeshadow down my nose. Hands up if you've done that before, ladies. Powder's a lot easier to control than the cream. Okay, and then let me just put a little bit up there. And I'm not going to use her highlighter, but I use the Huda one to just dot inside there, because I love that rose gold. It's just gorgeous. What's it called? Oh no, that's Zanzibar. It's not a highlighter. I'm going to use Seychelles, which is like a bar of gold, original bar of gold. And just dab that in there. Okay. Let's put a little bit just in the centre of the eye, just to make the eye pop a bit more. Just a dab. This is what's called refinement. Okay, and then finally, I'm going to finish off by putting some of the lip luster that goes with the vintage vamp look, which is Unleash Me. Now again, I don't want to swipe a load of this over, because it's quite dark in pigment, like that. Even though it's a lip gloss, it's still quite dark. So what I'm going to do is just put some on my finger. This is for daytime, obviously for the evening you might want to, and dab it over the top. Just in the centre, and then let it swipe out. Enough. Okay. And that is the finished look. Sorry, I'm back. Why, oh why, oh why, do I always forget to put Charlotte's pop shades on? I don't know what it is with me. I forgot the best bit of the vintage vamp palette, and I've got to do it. So wait for the finale. The best till last. Okay, it's this lovely gold shade here, and it really, you can't miss this, because it is gorgeous. And the more you rub your finger into it, the more pigmented it becomes, because the warmth of your finger warms it up and makes it more pigmented. So you often end up with one eye looking more pigmented than the other, because by the time you get to the second eye, it just goes on a lot more pigmented. That is the best part of the vintage vamp, and I can't believe I nearly forgot it. So there you are. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Bye-bye. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial, and I've really enjoyed making it and talking to you about my mum. And to Mum, this is for you, and may she rest in peace. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.